A hook you'll feel in your stomach. You walk into a new classroom mid-semester. Everyone already has a seat, a group chat, a shared joke. The teacher says your name wrong twice. You smile anyway, because you've learned the fastest way to survive is to look like you're fine. And maybe that's the strangest part, you are fine, but also not. You can make friends quickly, read a room in seconds, adapt to any vibe, yet a tiny part of you stays packed, like a suitcase you never fully unzip. If you changed schools often, you didn't just switch buildings. You switched social ecosystems. And your brain, built for connection and safety, had to learn a different way to belong. Adults often describe moving schools as a fresh start. Kids experience it more like a social reset with stakes, status, friendships, routines, teachers' expectations, even how to line up for lunch. Developmental psychologist Yuri Bronfenbrenner argued that children don't grow in isolation, they grow inside layered environments: home, school, peers, community. When school changes, the whole system changes at once: the rules, relationships, and feedback that tell you who you are. So the stress isn't only academic. It's identity level. Many frequently mobile students develop a kind of social superpower: rapid pattern recognition. Who has power here? What gets laughed at? What gets you invited? What gets you ignored? This isn't fake. It's protective. Psychologists who study mobility describe how repeated moves can shape the self toward flexibility, sometimes at the cost of feeling rooted. Shigehiro Oishi and colleagues, for example, found that more childhood moves were linked to lower adult well-being for some people, especially depending on personality, e.g., introversion, highlighting that mobility can interact with temperament rather than affecting everyone the same way. If you relate to this, you might recognize the inner script. I can fit in anywhere, but do I belong anywhere? One of the most used research tools in this area is Carol Goodinow's Psychological Sense of School Membership Scale, 1993, built to measure whether students feel accepted, respected, and included at school. In her work, stronger school membership was meaningfully linked with motivation and related outcomes. That's not surprising when you think about what belonging does. It reduces threat and social uncertainty. It increases engagement and effort. It makes mistakes feel safe enough to learn from. And broader research reviews find school belonging is generally associated with academic and motivational outcomes, plus social-emotional factors like self-concept and self-efficacy. For students who keep moving, belonging becomes fragile, something you build fast, then lose fast. In adolescence, Erik Erikson described identity as a central developmental task, figuring out who am I, while trying to be accepted. When school keeps changing, identity building can become complicated. Many frequent movers fall into one of these patterns, or bounce between them. The chameleon. You become great at adjusting yourself to match the environment, humor, style, interests, even accent. People like you everywhere. But later you wonder which version is you. The island. You stop investing. You keep your distance because attachment has a cost. You might tell yourself you're independent, while quietly craving closeness you don't fully trust. Neither pattern means you're broken. They're strategies. When people talk about moving schools, they focus on the first day. But the deeper impact is what you lost. Friendships that ended without closure. Mentors who didn't get to see you grow. Places where your history existed. Some people who moved often describe an ongoing feeling of low-grade loneliness, even when surrounded by friends. Not because they can't connect, but because their brain learned that connection can disappear overnight. Research on childhood mobility, including large-scale reviews in meta-analytic work and related mobility contexts, often points to small to moderate links with negative outcomes, while also emphasizing that effects vary by timing, frequency, and circumstances. So if you've ever thought, Why do I feel nostalgic for people I barely talk to anymore? Yes. That's real. That's your nervous system remembering repeated goodbyes. Resilience researcher in Maston famously described resilience as ordinary magic, not rare heroism, but everyday adaptive systems kicking in when life is hard. Many people who changed schools often developed social intelligence, you learned people fast. Cultural flexibility, you can move between groups. Independence and initiative, you had to. Perspective, you've seen different norms, different worlds. And sometimes, you learned how to start over again and again without collapsing. That matters. If you changed schools often, the healing isn't about being more confident. It's about building continuity, a sense of self that remains stable even when settings change. Here are evidence-aligned, practical tools. Name your pattern. Are you a chameleon? An island? Both? Awareness reduces automatic behavior. Create identity anchors. Pick 2 to 3 values or interests that travel with you: music, sport, coding, books, faith, art. Anchors tell your brain, I'm the same person in different places. Practice deeper friendships slowly. Instead of being instantly liked, try being gradually known. Depth, not speed, is what rewires safety. Build micro-belonging on purpose. Join one consistent group, club, team, volunteering. Belonging is often created through repeated shared time, not chemistry. If your experience includes trauma, get support. There's no shame in talking to a counselor, especially if moving was tied to loss, conflict, or instability. This is not a diagnosis, just a reminder that support exists. You can't erase the disruption, but you can reduce the emotional cost. Learn their story so far and repeat it back. You've had to restart a lot. That's hard. Help them keep one stable connection: a coach, a cousin, a weekly call. Don't pressure instant social success, focus on routine, safety, and small wins. For a student who moves often, one stable adult can be a psychological lifeline. If you changed schools often, and you sometimes feel like you can adapt anywhere but belong nowhere, you're not imagining it. Your mind learned flexibility to protect you. And that same flexibility can now help you build something steadier. If this hit home, do 3 things. Comment, I moved a lot, or even just me. Share this with someone who never understood why moving schools still affects you. Choose one anchor today, one habit, value, or community, and commit to it for a month. Because you don't need to keep living like you're temporary. And if you're nodding right now thinking, yes, I feel exactly that, then this isn't just a video idea. It's a piece of your story finally being named.